My husband, the CEO, leaned back with that smug grin and said, "Congratulations, you're out. Take your laptop and go. This $8 million empire is mine now, and Melissa will take your place. Divorce papers arrive tomorrow." Security was already waiting. I smiled as they walked me out, because what he didn't know was that my hidden code would awaken in 10 minutes and unravel everything he thought he owned. His name was Daniel. We de-built this company side by side, coding and dreaming in a tiny Seattle apartment littered with pizza boxes and cold coffee cups. 3 years ago, we called it Core Shield Systems. His talent was talking, mine was building. While he courted investors, I coded until my hands cramped. Our wedding was rushed and simple, $200 courthouse dress, no honeymoon, just vows whispered between debugging sessions. He promised 50-50 in life and in business. I believed him. The company soared. Within 18 months, we had a warehouse office, a team of developers, and million-dollar contracts. But Daniel slowly began rewriting the story. In boardrooms, my technical breakthroughs became team efforts. In client pitches, my code became his vision. When I objected, he brushed me off. "You're too technical," he'd laugh. "Let me translate." What he really meant was, stay behind the curtain. Then came Melissa, sharp, polished, with a background at Microsoft. I thought she was the answer to our operations chaos. She brought order to files, charmed clients, baked cookies for meetings. I welcomed her, even confided in her. But within months, I noticed the late nights. "Go on home," Daniel would say. "Melissa and I have projections to finish." He'd come home at 3 a.m., reeking of her perfume. When I confronted him, he accused me of paranoia. The first proof came by accident. One Thursday, I brought Thai food to his office. Melissa's laptop was open on his desk. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. The emails made me sick. "Once she's gone, we'll restructure. The cabin is perfect this weekend." They weren't just having an affair, they were plotting to erase me. My 48% ownership meant nothing if the board was convinced I was unstable. Melissa had been documenting every fabricated outburst, every absence. They were building a case against me. I snapped photos of everything, 23 damning screenshots. That night, I played the loving wife while my stomach turned. But I had a plan. I started documenting my contributions, archiving every line of code I'd written, filing patents under my maiden name, creating encrypted backups in places Daniel would never find. I recorded meetings where he stole credit. I embedded markers in the systems, signatures proving the code was mine. And then I wrote something else. Not destructive, not yet. But vulnerabilities, hidden doors, invisible flaws only I could see. To the outside world, the system was perfect. To me, it was a bomb waiting. The weeks crawled by. At parties, Daniel toasted me as the heart of our technical team in the past tense. Melissa shadowed my every move, undermining me with corrections that made me look incompetent. My team grew distant, whispering behind my back. Rumors of breakdowns spread, planted by Melissa. Even my therapist called it what it was, gaslighting. They were rewriting me into a liability, and I let them believe it. January came, and with it, the execution. Daniel staged it perfectly. Mahogany desk, sunlight pouring in, Melissa in a power-red dress, HR ready with the folder. "Your position is terminated, effective immediately," he said, sliding the letter toward me. Melissa's hand rested on his shoulder like she already owned the throne. When I asked how long they'd been sleeping together, he dismissed me as paranoid. Security was summoned. My personal items were boxed. My old laptop, ironically the one with my original code, was handed back as a sentimental gesture. They thought it was useless. In reality, it was a weapon. As security walked me out, I kept my head high. Daniel expected tears, begging. Instead, I smiled. Because 10 minutes later, the timer on my phone would trigger, and the company he thought he stole would begin to implode. At 9:10 a.m., sitting in my car across the street, my phone vibrated. Status: active. The vulnerabilities I'd left buried deep were waking up. At first, just delays, processes slowed, log rotations sped up, harmless-looking changes that cascaded into chaos. By 9:15, developers were sprinting across the lobby, phones to their ears. The client portal, their crown jewel, went dark. Fortune 500 clients couldn't see their data. The building itself seemed to panic. Alarms without sound. By 9:18, international probes began. Moscow, Beijing, London. Hackers smelled blood swarming in on the weaknesses I'd designed. The company that promised security was hemorrhaging it live. News vans pulled up. Investors called. Employees panicked. And there was Daniel storming through the lobby, yelling into H's phone, his perfect composure gone. Melissa beside him, pale in her red dress, suddenly powerless. By noon, contracts dissolved. Pacific Financial, the client I'd saved just days earlier, dropped them publicly. Investors buylaid. The FBI got involved. Nextcore's stock plummeted from $47 to $12 by afternoon. Calls flooded my phone: Daniel, Melissa, investors, reporters. I answered only one: Richard Thompson, our lead investor. His voice was shaking. "Brenda, please, fix this," I told him calmly. "I don't work there anymore." Then came Daniel, his voice cracked. "Brenda, please, come back, I'll reinstate you, anything." I reminded him of his words that morning. "You're fired," he begged. I hung up. By the evening, Nextcore was ashes. Melissa fled within weeks, her career scorched. The FBI circled their fake consulting payments. Investors sued. The company was worthless. Daniel aged 10 years overnight, stripped of his title, reputation gone. He even called me once, whispering apologies, admitting Melissa had convinced him to believe her lies. "You were the soul of the company," he said, "and I cut it out." I said nothing, because he was right. Meanwhile, my phone never stopped ringing. Companies wanted the woman who had saved Pacific Financial, the mysterious co-founder ousted hours before disaster. Consulting offers poured in. Within weeks, I was earning more than I ever had at Nextcore. I named my new venture Shield Point Solutions. Word spread fast. If you wanted bulletproof security, you hired me. Months later, Daniel showed up at my door, unshaven, desperate. "Please," he said, "come back, take 48% ownership, full control over tech, I need you." His offer was everything I'd once dreamed of, but it was too late. I built Shield Point on my own, free of betrayal. Daniel's empire was gone. My empire was just beginning. Because in the end, he was right about one thing. Brilliance without business acumen only gets you so far. But underestimate the woman who wrote the code, and she'll show you exactly how fast your empire can collapse. So tell me, what would you have done if you were me? Would you have let him win, or would you have pulled the trigger? Let me know in the comments. And if this story had you hooked, hit like, subscribe, and get ready, because I've got more stories of betrayal and revenge you won't believe.